something.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever, whenever, however you all are. Welcome to Toxic Tuesday. How's it going, dudes? Look at all you faces in the chat. I see all of you. I see all of you. What's going on, dudes? Let's look at all those faces there. Raising fingers. Piku. We got Brian McCann. How's it going, Brian? Nice to see you here, sir. Hopefully you are doing very well. Hello, Keely Chow. What's going on? Jonathan Conroy. Doth Viewer. What's up? Steve Mitchum. Juggalo Deathcock. What's up, guys? I see Joe. I hung out with Juggalo Deathcock in Milwaukee. It was fucking awesome. It was great. I had a great time. We hung out. It's diabolically huge. It's fantastic. We had a huge time. We drank a lot of booze. Listened to a lot of glam at the hotel, and we had the Alice Cooper poison burger, and it was absolutely poison. Holy shit, was it poison? Hey, Dave C, what's up, Dave C? Cyberchud 2077, hello. Nice to see you guys are coming in huge and hot, all you gentlemen here. And of course, guys, for those men who like to have it both ways, we are also dual streaming on Rumble. We even had the president over on Rumble. His Excellency Donald Trump says, now this is how you do a sequel. That's what he said. It's how you do a sequel. What's up, Christian Delorme? How you doing? 20 of you already in here. We've just barely started. Well, guys, here's that Rumble link. Otherwise, you can have it both ways now, or you can wait till later when we transition exclusively to Rumble, and we'll give you our clips and our tips. But we're going to bring in our gentleman here because why the hell not? We'll start off with just another red shirt. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
How's it going?
It's going well, not bad. Some bad news came over Twitter. Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
George went.
No.
Somebody posted a video of every one of his entrances, and I wish I could remember how, because the question was asked of him on a couple of entrances. How's it going, Norm? And he always had a funny response.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the best running gags on the entire show when Norm showed up. So going to miss him because he and Cliff Clavin were my two favorite characters on Cheers.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. When I saw it, I was like, really? Norm had to go? Come on. And I was around 4th, 5th grade when I discovered Cheers. And I was like, this show's fucking awesome. And I didn't know until a few years later that he was already in my life in more ways than one with all the SNL skits. As we were talking earlier on Midnight's Edge with Tom, I was like, bro, what type of moment? It was some crazy shit, dude.
Yep. Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing on that show.
No, God, was he ever? Holy
Yeah.
shit, man! I feel like it's like my moral obligation now to want to go watch some Cheers now. So I think I'm gonna do that like between now and the next several days. But good to have you back, sir. You've been missed. And I just saw Tom, but I'm gonna say hello to him again. Hi, Tom.
Are you ready? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
I'll make you famous.
That freaking line. You know, when I heard him say that line, the first thing that came to my mind was the Undertaker American Badass Biker era, because he used to say that to a lot of his opponents. And I always thought, it's interesting, phrase. And then Emilio Estevez said it, and I'm like, oh, so that's where the Undertaker got that statement from. Okay. It all makes sense now where the American Badass got it from. So, okay. He must be a fan of Young Guns too. So, nice one, Taker. Well played.
Best
Well played.
$1.80 I ever spent.
Good to see you, Tom. Thank you for being here. I know you got a lot on your plate, and you still find new ways to slide in, even with everything that you have to do stuff in your time. I'm impressed by what you accomplished.
Well, if I gotta go down, I want to go down in a blaze of glory with you guys.
Oh, that's so romantic. That's so fucking romantic. Holy shit. Voidkin, Nick, I just got myself a reissue copy of Death Human album for $50. Dude, that's nuts, man. Is that the one that came out 10 years ago where it was the remastered version? Let me know. Either way, that's probably like right at my... Oh, you said on vinyl. Okay, yeah, that explains that. So it's probably like a gatefold. That would explain a little bit of that. But no, hey, as long as that's right. That's exactly where my cutoff line is, because there's some good stuff out there, but as far as an album, Human's probably where I draw the line at. But no, you did good, man. I let me know what you think of that. I want to hear your thoughts, because there's some really awesome bangers on that one. All right. What's up, Gilda King Vince Womack? How you doing, sir? Saw Davina Duckworth as well. Hello. And of course, Christian DeLorme right away, starting at the show hugely hot. And where did it disappear? There it is. For a Canadian $5, a Toxic Tuesday joke. What's the difference between a hormone and a vitamin? You can make a vitamin. I don't get it.
A hormone and a vitamin. You can't make a vitamin, but you can make a hormone.
Oh,
Nick's so naive. You're so naive.
clearly.
You've clearly never made a hormone.
Oh my.
I know, right?
Did we get demonetized yet?
Well, that's fine if we get demonetized. That's fine. That's all good and good.
This is the new Toxic Tuesday theme, by the way.
I like that. It's got a good read. Oh, what's up, Read by Nature? I heard the song before I bought it. Sorry. So then is it just the remaster? Let me know if it's the remaster, because if it's the remaster, it's gonna be like hearing it for the first time. ... again. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, great to be here. Yep. Let me turn my. I'm working in the background, a lot of times, so I'm not looking at the camera. Yep. So yeah. Tom is going good. Yep. moving around. Yeah, yeah. Well, congratulations to Brian on his team making the next round of the playoffs.
Go Stars.
Go Stars. Yeah. So my new favorite team. Yeah.
See, my reverse
your
jinx is
new
working because I
favorite
predict
team.
them to
Reverse
crash
jinx.
and burn every round. The reverse jinx works.
Yeah. So, but Rangers aren't playing like you said. So what are you
The
gonna
who?
do? But, the Who?
What?
The Who actually are allegedly doing their
They
final
are doing
tour
their
this
final.
like,
I was at their first final tour in 1982. I've been at a few
Yeah.
since. It's
That's
always
a
the
pretty
final
good one.
tour.
the final tour. Yeah. Never say never
Yeah,
again.
well,
Yeah,
Pete was 80
The
yesterday.
final
The
tour.
final. Yes, we really mean it this time.
Yeah.
Tour.
Out
Here
in
going
the
away now.
fields.
Only Kiss have had more final tours than the Who.
Ah, that was good.
And then they decided not to make it final, just hire other people to keep going on tour
Yeah.
for them.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we're all hoping that it'll soon be Bon Jovi's final tour.
No,
They're living on a prayer anyway.
Was that song written for this movie, or was that
Yes,
and
the Blaze of Glory one was.
Blades
Yeah.
of
Yes.
Glory, isn't that,
Glory was,
isn't that a
yes.
hockey thing?
You're
Figure skating.
thinking of another
Blades of Glory.
song that originally Emilio Estevez wanted for this movie, and Bon Jovi chose to go with something else instead, and that's where we got our end result.
Well, he did the whole soundtrack, Bon Jovi himself.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did the songs by Bon Jovi. No, that was the part that confused me because obviously, as I made clear a few weeks ago, I had never seen these movies. So these are both first timers for me. So it said songs by Bon Jovi, music by Alan Silvestri, and obviously these are two names. Obviously, I recognize very well. Before we continue on about that music and stuff, hi 70s.
Hi.
How's it going, sir?
It's going pretty good. We got a new puppy today, so puppy love. If I disappear for a while, it's a new sheepdog in the
dog on
making.
stream.
I'm going to train it as a sheepdog. So, but if I disappear for a while, it's because my
You better not
services
fuck
may be
that
needed.
dog.
Whoa, what?
That would be horrible. I mean, it's not a sheep, is it? It's a sheepdog. It's
That's what I'm saying.
a sheep in
No,
order.
you don't you be getting it confused.
That would be disgusting. Are you some kind of pervert?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, if
My
70s
goodness
if 70s disappears for a while, it's because one of his sheep got out because the sheepdog isn't working
That's
yet.
right. It's not working yet.
He fucks
Thing
that
needs-
dog. I'm
That
calling
thing
him
needs is
Society.
gonna have to get to work pretty quick.
Oh,
Well, I think you
So-
should pop that overlay off for 1 second, just so as we're talking
okay.
about
I will happily
fornication.
compromise. I will
Just for a
compromise
couple
for,
seconds
for,
to
the,
put it
for the
back.
men in our chat. Oh,
I dream of California.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put me at the bottom here. I'll put you boys. on
Ooh,
top.
nice. Well, there
Yeah.
was.
that isn't working out.
It
So I gonna
was.
be like, oh, hey there. Oh no. Oh no.
What a bum!
Ah, what a-
She pulled the Lady Godiva.
Filthy
Like,
bum.
what was the point of like taking her clothes off other than to get the movie closer to rated R, I guess, or what was the?
What movie is this from? Oh, this is from.
Does it have to have a point?
Does it have to-
I mean, why are you asking for the? The
I don't
point
know.
is
I
the
think
point.
I think the thing speaks for itself.
It probably has.
Yeah, this is right at the end.
Oh,
yeah,
this is okay.
yeah, when they burned down the.
Honestly, yeah, I
Full
haven't
House,
watched
yeah.
the second one in a while.
Well,
It's
I'm
been about
glad-
a year.
Has it been that long?
I don't know. I think I watched it. Yeah, because I got the Blu-ray. I watched it. When did the 4K come out? End of last year, or was it like the middle of last year? Whenever
I
it was.
don't know.
I just found a DVD in a thrift store this week for $1.
Nice.
Ooh,
It's an old
nice.
snapper case too.
Yeah, I hate those cases, but I couldn't pass it up because we were doing it this week.
I don't know if I still have any left, but it was really cool because when I worked at this other video store that wasn't mine, because I did work at other ones besides my own. They had when we get the Warner Brother titles and we would just cut them up and put them in regular cases because they had to have the locks on them. And I asked my boss, I'm like, "What do you do with all these?" And she's like, "We're just gonna throw them out." I'm like, "Can I take them?" She's like, "Why would you want them?" I'm like, "I got hundreds of DVDs, and you know what happens when the middle of these breaks? You know, like where it holds the disc.
Mm-hmm.
You basically got a disc that's rattling around in a cardboard
Yeah.
case all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have tons of them that need to be replaced. Because what they do is you got to like pop them all apart, and they actually come apart real easy once you pop them apart. But then so I just went and replaced a bunch of them. But I had a ton of them for the longest time. So I'll have to see if I got any left. But yeah,
I hate the snapper ones, but
yeah, I used to hate them too. But yeah.
Okay.
Put all my discs in another storage unit.
Now I'm almost nostalgic for them.
I wish they could have worded it better with the songs by Bon Jovi, music by Alan Silvestri. They should have said composing score by Alan Silvestri, guitar-driven music by Bon Jovi, because I'm sure that's what they meant. But when you look at those, kind of confusing?
Do they have all kinds of crazy rules for credits, right? I mean, George Lucas got in trouble for the lack of credits in Star Wars, and they actually changed the rules because of how they ran that credit. So, Tom's our movie expert here. Do they have? There's like a rule behind that, or something they can't say? Or
I think it's just the music part. I'm sure it has to do with something between the guild and Bon Jovi's contract. A lot of that stuff is usually contractual. Even like they'll even nowadays, not so much back then, but nowadays especially, like your manager or agent or whatever will sit there and negotiate where you're at on the poster, where your name is placed in the credits and all that shit.
That's way too excessive for it's like, why are we making like this politicization of all this stuff?
Well, it's a lot of union rules. So I remember like the guy from Wrath of Khan, Judd Scott is the last name. Khan's secondhand guy, and his agent, he kept on he wanted, line credit or credit, and he misunderstood. So he said, and they said, "Oh, we're not going to give that, give that to you." So he's not credited in Wrath of Khan because of the screw up with his agent, miscommunication. So they said, well, we won't give you that, that higher credit. But he thought he would still be listed in the movie. They never, so his name doesn't appear in the credits anywhere. Yeah. Now this is interesting too. Like, did Billy the Kid survive? Like, I don't think he did, but it's kind of a cool
that's the big question that this movie asks, because there was this guy who I believe later on was debunked.
Yeah, the two guys. Yeah.
And
what they could do now with DNA too. So they have his mom's grave as.
I think they tested it not too long ago, and that was one of that they found out that this guy was not real.
But maybe one of them. But one of them, I was reading, they wouldn't let them exhume the mom's body to get DNA samples to see.
Yeah, something like that.
So just on another trivia note, there's Bradley Whitford, but there's another star of The West Wing further down the cast list. Richard Schiff plays a small role in this too. So there's 2 West Wing stars in this movie.
Yeah,
and really, who else is in this movie? Cameron's in this movie.
Yeah,
and he didn't
let my people go.
Rooney. I was like, Cameron, what are you doing in this movie? You're all serious.
He's letting his people go.
Letting his people go? I don't know about all that, but that's Mr. Peterson to you.
And an early Viggo Mortensen as well.
Yeah, early Viggo Mortensen.
Aragorn,
this movie's full of
beard and long hair and blonde.
Yeah, this movie's full of character actors who show up later.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in IMDb at least half a dozen or more times just looking people up, going, that guy looks familiar. Who's playing him? And then what did he do? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's where I know him from. I should have written them down because there was a bunch.
They not only showed up later, a lot of them in the movie, but they also became a lot bigger later on as well in real life as well.
Scott Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy how that happened.
And even though you got William Peterson taking over for oh god, I just forgot his damn name. The guy who shot Billy the Kid.
Pat Garrett.
Pat Garrett.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think he's a better choice in this one, to be honest with you. He because I mean, this is one of his best performances prior to like CSI years and stuff where everybody knew him besides Manhunter. I think he really does a great job in this one. I mean, and you said it earlier, Nick, on the stream, that this might even be better than the first movie. There are aspects to it. I mean, they had a lot more money, obviously.
Doesn't feel like they put it to waste either.
No, exactly. I mean, overall, I mean, this movie is basically everything sequels usually were in that era. More money, bigger bang for your buck. I mean, you may have even thought for a moment there wasn't more story to tell, but I mean, it really, really gets into the nitty gritty of the last part of Billy's life. Mm-hmm. And outside of having the old guy telling the story and this idea that Pat Garrett might have let him live or whatever, which some people say it could be true, might not be. It's where legends come from, basically. It's where legends meet fact is kind of where this movie is placed in a weird way. It's interesting.
Even though it's the first movie was written without a sequel having to be kept in mind, they even have the written credits after the movie to show you where the stories ended off per se, and they end up getting a sequel anyway. It feels like this movie does have a bit of a yang to the first movie's yen, and even though that wasn't the intention, I feel like that's really saying a lot about how I think organic the cast was together and how well they really put the story together and make it like, okay, we're actually going to do this. We had no idea this is going to happen. What can we do to make this feel like this is actually going to kind of not just be a cash in? Because it really does work on all levels. Like the cast is great. There's maybe just a tinge more action. There's definitely a lot more stakes to the action than ever. The music is probably, for me, the music's even better. And I feel like I'm more invested with the cast this time around now that I know them and I care more. So I feel like this movie improves on a lot of aspects to it. And I think it feels like it really is a bookend to what came before with the first movie. It feels like there is now a complete picture here.
Yeah, and the history part of it is great too, because this is a true story. So they mix up the order of some things, obviously, not complaining about, but they change up a lot of things. But he really did meet with the governor, so to give him a pardon. Now it was over another killing. It wasn't over the Lincoln War killings. And when they call it the Lincoln War, it's Lincoln County War. It's two factions, basically two militias went at it. Well, that's what we saw in the first movie with the regulators and the versus where Tunstall and Dick Brewster, and then a court against the British guys. So it was English and the Irish, I guess, fighting, and they even say that in this movie. So but yeah, he really did meet with the governor, and the governor was going to give him a pardon for testifying over another murder, but no one else got charged in that in those Lincoln County wars. Everyone got a pardon except Billy the Kid. So there's a lot, and like Tom was saying, that's how myth becomes legend, and what's true or what's not true. But everyone idolizes Billy the Kid. You side with these outlaws, and
I always put this movie as this is where legend meets fact, or you know what I mean,
yeah.
And becomes myth or whatever you want to call it, because it is kind of in that respect. There's a lot of true elements to the movie, but then again, there's a lot of questions: did he survive? Did he not survive? Did Pat Garrett really shoot him? I don't know if they ever really, because that was the other thing. There's a lot of mystery surrounding his death, and we talked a little bit about this on the first film, but it's a little bit easier to get into it in this film because that's kind of what it's all about. Yeah. And because they brought up that Pat might have accidentally shot the guy because Billy was staying at this ranch. Yes. I can't remember if it was just on this side of Mexico or just on the other side of Mexico, but it was this
very
Mexican
wealthy landowner. Yeah.
Very wealthy landowner.
One of the wealthiest guys in the country. Yeah.
It'd be and they Elon think Musk he might have accidentally shot his son instead of Billy. And so it was turning into this big whole thing. Well, to cover everything up, and everybody kind of worked it out and agreed that they would say, yes, that it was Billy that was shot. Billy would take off deeper into Mexico and never come back. Right? That was kind of the whole deal. Yeah. And legend has it that that's exactly what Billy did. Got married with some señorita, had a bunch of kids, and died old age, whatever. Then there's the other part of it where it really was Billy that got shot, and that's it. That's the end of the story. But the problem is, the thing that makes it so mysterious is that he was buried literally that morning. He went from being shot. They didn't have a funeral. He didn't even go to the coroner or anything like that.
He wasn't even dead yet.
Yeah, yeah, he could have been.
Wasn't
He could have
even
been
dead
not
yet.
even been
Was he
dead.
mostly dead or all dead?
You know, so like, and I don't know if
Oh
they
yeah,
ever
they didn't show
exhumed
the
his
body off. Like a lot of times, didn't they?
exactly.
Have
That was the
body
big
and-
thing that they couldn't understand, because this being Billy the Kid, the most
Yeah.
notorious gunman ever in history, they used to show off fucking dead bodies of outlaws all the time and leave them on display for various, all the time.
Yeah.
And for them not to do that for Billy the Kid is extremely mysterious. And they took him straight from like, those guys took him and they went and buried him. And I don't think they ever exhumed his body or not to this day or not. I can't remember. I think they may have moved it at one point, but nobody ever actually opened up the casket or double checked on anything like that. Because I can't even remember if they even have a lineage now to even check the DNA. I can't remember where they got the DNA for the deal to check the one guy.
blood.
but-
It was some blood
Yeah.
where he was shot. Allegedly they do have the body and the gravesite. You know, if you Google it, you can see where the gravesite, his body is. So I don't know what's happened, but I know that one town they claim that this guy in this story, that's that's Billy the Kid, and that was him that hit out. And of course,
Isn't there like 2 gravestones technically for Billy the Kid too on top of
I've
it all to
heard
confuse
that.
matters?
I've heard
Yeah.
that there's two. I don't know if that's like 100%, but I have heard rumblings about that. I would not be surprised if that were
Yeah.
definitely the case.
oh, there are, yeah. So there are 2 gravestones, yeah. So
died
one
twice.
at Fort Sumter, I think. I'm just was reading it. Yeah, Fort Sumter, and there's also one for let's see, where's this other one? I think in one of the other towns, So, but I don't know if they, it'd be interesting. Yeah, they should. You have to get a court order.
I've seen the one in Fort Sumter.
All right.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
quickly, I will acknowledge this from my man Gary Ambrosia. What's up, dude?
Gary.
How you doing?
Gary, what's up?
Hello, Bob. Goodbye, Bob.
Gary.
Best dollar
Best $1.80 I ever spent.
Oh, dude, hell yeah, man! Thank you for the $5, sir.
Doesn't
I
he say
hope
something like, "I'm going
are
to kill you
well."
first, Bob"? Or something like that.
Yes. I love it. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
So actually, what's funny, because you guys make a good point, because just like I said, that's what I was trying to say is you wash away all the old guy telling the story stuff away. All this stuff is actually a little bit more accurate probably than the first movie in some respects, because all the stuff that happened right in the town where he shot the guy and everything with the $1.80, all that shit is a true story.
Mhm.
Like going to meet the governor for a pardon, like what Marker,
Yeah.
who was a red
I was
shirt, whoever was
shocked
saying.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a true
I'm like,
fucking
oh, that's
story.
gotta be. I'm like, that's gotta be both. I never really knew that much about Billy the Kid, and I forgot years since I watched this movie. It's like, that's bullshit. I'm gonna check the internet, which is always reliable.
And he
but no,
supposedly
it's-
really did feel
true.
bad about having to shoot that one guy because he liked him. Like, yeah.
And he kept writing the governor letters. And another thing too, that's amazing. He died. He was 21 years old, Billy the Kid. So of course, if he lived, but he was born in 1859, and he died in 1881. So yeah, so if he'd lived to 90, he would have been, in the 1950s, would have been 90 years old at the end of the movie. But God, he's age 21, and this is one of the most famous people in American history. And so he was only, for 5 years. When did he first, become, make a name?
Well, he was
for
like
himself,
16, 17 years old when
Right?
he basically first started out on his adventure, and it really was
Right?
kind of a whirlwind.
And
Like,
he
and the
actually
mo-
was a kid when he
Yeah.
when he was becoming
Yeah.
a big name, hence the name Billy the Kid.
And we did cover that a little bit when we covered the first movie, because his whole thing
Yeah.
was he's originally up for, I think it was theft or whatever, and he thought he was going to get in a bunch of trouble, so then he fucking broke out of prison and fucking
Yeah.
then he shot a guy, and then fucking instead of sticking around
Yeah.
because he probably could have got out for self-defense, and then he just perpetuated his own fucking myth, like by pushing the idea of who he was by like he we brought it up on that show last time where I said, he basically pulled the old the guy count of how many women you've been with just with how many men he's killed, right?
Yeah,
If he killed 3, he said he did 6 or 9 exactly.
Yeah. And he did get shot in the leg too. That was part of history too. In that gunfight, yeah, when they killed the other guy, the guys at the beginning that just went through that scene.
And I kind of understand why he was the only one not to get. I don't agree with it, because if it was technically considered a war, then he should have been pardoned. But I can understand him not being the only one who didn't get a pardon, because he was the only one who really went out. Besides, not Tunstall, but the other guy, what is,
Doc or
no, the bad guy, the Irish dude. I just forgot his damn name.
I am forgetting his name now too. Yeah.
Mick whatever.
Guy that owned the store, the competing store.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't other than him, the only one who really killed anybody in cold blood was Billy, if you think about it. Because otherwise it was all like back and forth bullshit until Billy decided to fucking kill the one dude, and then it got really fucking dicey after that.
Oh, it was Murphy.
He was all out for Murphy's men.
Murphy and Dolan, Murphy and Dolan.
because they never could prove that Murphy actually killed Tunstall, but they knew, Billy knew, and Billy was going to go after those guys. He was out for blood. They were supposed to just arrest them, and that's why he didn't. That was what I was getting to. That's why they didn't take away his, or they wouldn't give him.
At one point, like we saw in the first movie, he was deputized Billy the Kid, and
that was the deal. That's where he went off the rails. Yeah,
and Brady actually arrested Billy the Kid, but then the U.S. troops actually rescued Billy the Kid, and then they released them. And
well, there was a reason why this shit was called the Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you realize you guys got to you just got to do a little research to realize that, a sheriff compared to a county sheriff compared to a there was like no law, U.S. Marshals, and sometimes they would tell the marshals just to go fuck themselves,
right.
So you had a lot of times where it was just the law themselves were arguing amongst each other. So you had all this outlaw activity going on at the same time, and a lot of times the law would just look the other way during certain things. And
because Sheriff Brady, his guards locked up Billy the Kid, and then that's who Billy the Kid. That's what he never got the pardon for, was killing Sheriff Brady later. But the government troops arrested all of Brady's jail guards and put them behind bars. So it's a crazy. Yeah, like you said, Tom, it was the wild west there. God, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not in this movie, but just to make everything even more complicated, you had the Pinkertons. And they were just about as gun happy as any lawman in the West.
And the Hearsts as well was another big family that was coming into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was enormously complicated. You could get arrested by any one of a number of people, and then you had to wait for a circuit judge to come riding into town so he could hear cases. The law was slow to react. So, there was a lot of, we're not waiting, like the lynch mobs. So yeah, it was crazy. And it was, it was possible to slip through the cracks unless you got a posse or a group of men who were assigned to basically spend all of their time tracking you down. And
and another side of this too was like you'd be like somebody who was considered an outlaw at most times, but then next thing you know, you could get deputized, and a lot of that shit would get washed away. Like Wyatt Earp's a good example of that, right? Like he did a lot of questionable shit when he was younger, but as soon as he became a sheriff, then all that shit kind of just got forgotten about. Like
you're the good guy now.
Yeah, you're a good guy now. So this would happen a lot because a lot of times when these guys would need some deputies, they would go after the gunman, right? Because they ain't gonna pick some fucking farmer dude who don't know what the fuck he's doing, right?
Right.
They want somebody who knows how to handle a goddamn gun.
Yep.
Well, that's what the funny thing with Cameron. Like, have you shot anyone? It's like, no, I think, what did he say? Like, I shot a rabbit or something one time, or a bird, or, when Billy's trying to run, get a couple of people on his side. That was a pretty funny scene. Yeah. So, it's just, it's interesting too. Yeah. Cause
well, I was just saying that's how these guys could kind of navigate and kill so many people, but yet not just get hung or go to jail or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it was a strange time to live. And people knew you killed these people, and people would outright just say, "Oh yeah, I killed them." It wasn't like they would hide the shit either. It was like, it's just strange how the times have changed, and a lot of men used to be able to be just men and handle shit on their own back then with frontier justice on top of it all, which is kind of where Billy comes from, right? He feels like he was justified in his own way. which, you know, you can almost understand a man feeling that way at that time when you didn't have the law the way we do now, right? It's really easy to see how you could decide, yeah, who else is going to do anything about this if I don't? Right.
Yep.
So
it.
I can understand where Billy was coming from in a lot of ways. And he knew that a lot of these guys, once they took him in, they'd probably get a pardon anyway, or they weren't going to get hung. And he knew goddamn well there was no way Murphy was going to get anything happen to him.
Sounds to me
No.
Sounds to me like Tom knows how a man feels now and in that era.
I know how a man feels everywhere.
All right.
It's like, you know, things that. Oh, go ahead, Nick. Yep.
All right, now I'm going to acknowledge you. You guys have a really good conversation. I'm like, I don't want to stop it. So I guys were just having you go out. It was perfect. Christian Delar for Narc Canadian 5. Let's see if Nick gets this toxic joke. What's the difference between a lentil and a chickpea? I never had a lentil. Okay, I really don't know. I mean, thank you for Canadian 5, Christian, but I really don't know.
You've never had a chickpea?
Oh,
It's a urination joke, Nick.
Okay. It's starting like I think I'm starting to get somewhere with this, but no.
I should just point out, by the way, something that passed by earlier was that Billy the Kid's grave is at Fort Sumner in New Mexico.
I said Sumter. Okay,
not Fort Sumter.
So, yeah, my bad. Yeah.
No, it's a mistake I've made in the past as well.
Yeah,
Sumter,
New
Sumner.
Mexico. And I would say I don't know for sure, but I think he's shit. If anything, I think Billy's legend's even bigger down in Mexico than it is here, in some ways. But I could be wrong.
Well, even all the kids in New York are trying to emulate him and talking about him, and I got to keep reading about him in the dime store news. Sorry, just semi-quoting a line from the movie. Yeah, but it's just amazing how, I mean, as a kid, everyone knew who Billy the Kid was right away. It's like he's one of these characters that there's such a legend about him, and he does a great job portraying him in this movie. Yeah, he's a likable guy, right? You know, I'm sure probably not someone you want to bring home for dinner, maybe, but
well, that was one thing that you found often about Billy is how loyal he was and how good of a friend. Like, if you were his friend, he would kill for you. Like, that's kind of how it was. Like, that's where, I mean, if you earned his friendship, it meant something, but don't dare cross his ass. Like,
no. Yeah, you could only do that once.
Well, show him in. No, I noticed also along with there's one guy in here who I saw, and for a second I'm like, is that Ian McShane? It's not him, but there's one guy in here. I'm like, I swore I thought it was. I'm like, was this like his tryout for Deadwood? Clearly it was not, but I'm just like, it kind of like threw me off guard. There's one guy in here who looks like a much younger version. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking. I didn't catch his name. No, 70. That was good, by the way. That was good, but I'm like, what? No, but man, this movie, straight up litmus test for a lot of guys who became big names. Because I know somebody mentioned how prominent they became to the movie, but a lot of his names became prominent later on. And it's crazy to think, once again, bring up Vigo again. And, of course, Alan Ruck maintained a career for a bit after Ian McShane's episode.
Robert Nepper was...
So it's really wild, like, how this movie, in some ways, like, and you had the current stars of the time. So it was almost like an unintentional, like, changing of the guard of some sorts with this movie. Or turning of the guard, whatever you want to call it. But there was a little bit of that, not in terms of the story, but just in terms of the personnel who was involved with the makings of said flick. I'm like, I'm like, oh, damn, that's wild, man. So, also, did you notice too? I learned this because when I was doing my history on this movie about they actually use a real life injury for Chavez for the knife because he had an actual real life injury, so they made the knife scene to apply to his real life injury. Do you guys know about that?
No, I don't know what's the story behind that.
No. You know where he has the knife put through his arm?
Yeah.
Well, he hurt his arm while he was filming the movie. I think he even outright broke it. So they decided to add that scene in as a way to play off of that. So I'm like, wow, they Tom Cruise that shit before Tom Cruise himself on Mission Impossible Fallout when he broke his own ankle for that one scene.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that kind of knife one, that's the kind of one that looks like it's going to get awfully infected, and you're going to die from that way back when, right? I mean,
yeah, but these guys weren't concerned about every other disease on the planet. They were kind of just like, if I die, I die. They weren't thinking, oh no, guys. When you get the knife out, could you make sure there's no germs on it? They were thinking
in real life. No,
things.
But yeah, in real life, it's like, yeah.
Oh, dude, they wouldn't even care that they got stabbed. Nowadays, they would just be more concerned about the germs on the knife nowadays. Yeah. That would be the actual concern nowadays. Oh,
that it hit an artery.
Yeah. It's so crazy when you look at like the living back then, the living to now. Once again, it's a great reminder of how good we do have it and how petty a lot of the shit people complain about actually is. Because, god damn, man. And these guys, like, live through some serious shit. When shit did, happen, they brushed it off. They maybe got lucky. They got to put some stitches. They moved on. Nowadays, there's 800 medications, 800 surgeries, all these things, these fortunacies that we have, and these guys just brush it off. Everyone, like, it's kind of like reminds me of like NFL back in the day versus NFL now. Back now, a guy will get hurt, go back on the field and play it. Now, the guy hurts his pinky and he's gone and suspended for half the season. And I'm applying that logic to the way the Western world was living from then and now into Western society then to Western society now. Man, we don't realize how good. And also, I realized they had donuts then too.
I was gonna say, think of hockey players as ancient cowboys, right? The way they're the opposite of the other sports, right? Yeah, they just keep going. Yep.
Great. Let me tell you something. I really want to catch a spiritus. Oh, what? I don't remember what all that detail is about. But also, I noticed, is that one girl, the one who does the Mad Mardigan, is that girl Jenny from Forrest Gump?
Let's check.
I think that girl's Jenny from Forrest Gump. I swear she looked kind of like familiar. I'm like, if that's not her, she definitely looks a bit like her.
The chick who plays Jenny in Forrest Gump, that's Sean Penn's ex-wife, isn't it?
Is that
Jenny Wright? Oh, Jenny Wright.
Jenny Wright, yeah. I'm like, they definitely look. If it isn't her, they definitely look similar. That's for certain. That's for fucking certain, man. I'm like,
she was in Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Okay.
Don't think it's the same person.
No. Okay. I saw a resemblance. I love when he did the 3-shot. That was actually creative, by the way. Well done, William. Splendid performance. No, the fact that he would do it for the shot like that, turning the candle around, bro.
I'm surprised they didn't take his gun away though when he meets the governor, right?
Oh, I know, right? Well, back then governors probably had guns on themselves too, and they were like, okay, this guy try to shoot me, I'll be quick enough to try to shoot him back. Nowadays, well, we all know no one has an encounter with the governor that involves a gun nowadays. Once again, shit that does not happen at all anymore. We try to treat guns out there. They're supposed to be this like fictional thing now. It's foreign. What's up, Toback? I see Toback is on Rumble. By the way, chat, once again, in little over half hour, we will be going on to the Rumble site exclusively. And then Christian says another Canadian 5. The disclaimer: these jokes are only an attempt at humor and do not match the views of Christian Delorme or his kin. Tell me you got that, Nick? Well, of course, dude. This is only of your ilk. It suits your ilk. And I know guys like 70s would know of your nature and understand that and say, yeah, that's definitely right up Christian Delorme and his territory of humor. Would that be the case, Seven? Yes, there you go.
It would,
That's his way of confirming the obvious, by the way. That's his way. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's Christian has a wonderful sense of humor. We share a European sensibility.
So, okay, I learned that originally, too, that this movie's subtitle was originally, and 70s, you're going to get a kick on this one. Its subtitle was going to be, wait for it, Hellbent for Leather. And was dropped.
So they could have had Judas Priest do the soundtrack then.
Instead of Bon Jersey.
A Priest soundtrack would have been great.
Priest, or were they avoiding a Judas Priest lawsuit? I mean, if let's be real here, the song had been a household song way after this movie came out. So it wasn't like it was a new song that they would have to fight for the name, but it was a pretty essential song to the Priest.
I think they could have had Rob Halford and some good leather chaps there riding a bike and through the town would have been just awesome.
And Rob Halford is not gay, by the way, just so you know.
He's the straightest gay man you'll ever meet.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, it really recontextualizes a lot of his lyrics, like in songs like "Ram It Down," "Eat Me Alive." I'm just like, oh, okay.
I met one of his the manager for
one of his main
a friend. No, I'm trying to get to say this right. One of my good friends. We loved Judas Priest growing up, and he years later met the manager. And the manager was telling him stories like he would pick boys, young men, to ask, give them, the backstage pass, just like guys did with women, usually, and he'd see who he could convert, to the other side, shall we say. So
it is worth pointing out that there was a 1960 movie called Hellbent for Leather, starring Audie Murphy.
Oh, did not know that.
Even then, the phrase had come from before.
He's just living after midnight. Oh, Trump part. That was great. That was perfect, Jeff. Well played, dude.
Good one.
Oh man, I love it when you guys can lean in on the priestisms. We'll call it priestisms. I like that. That's got a good read to it. Priestisms. How far? This looks like it's really, really, really early on, Mark, in the slide. By the way.
Yeah. I think what we'll do, we'll speed it up when we get to the Rumbles. I was doing it slow, and then we'll.
Oh, see, I wrote in the chat like half hour. Just let it rip. Like it normally does.
Oh, yeah, I'm missing the I didn't see your privates. Sometimes I don't notice your privates. So there we go.
You got to look at Nick's privates.
I make it a point to always say
it's in the contract.
Privates. Yeah.
All right, I'll speed it up.
Privates pop up. You look again, and then you do whatever the privates say. Okay, that is how my privates work.
Okay.
If you need to take 30 to 45 seconds to whack it, that's fine.
Oh, fuck. Gay. Well, Blaze of Gay. It's a Blaze of Glory. It could have been called Blaze of Gay. That would have been.
We're in such a blaze of glory here. We're flaming.
Blaze of gay. We're flaming. He's so fucking gay. All right, I'm trying to think.
He's so fucking gay.
I'm trying to figure out. It feels like there's a few faces who are missing that were not around this time around. Who's missing? Because I couldn't piece it together. I chose not to look it up because I want to, really make my normie show. I feel like there's a few faces missing this time around. I feel like the girl that Kiefer Sutherland was with is obviously she's one of them, but who else?
I mean, as far as who's still alive,
in the story,
and I mean, in the other thing with the story is, I think they had to really fudge to get some of these people into the story. Like, I mean, as we touched upon last week, like Chavez is actually like a combination of like 2 or 3 people. Doc was actually a lot older than Kiefer Sutherland really was. In real life.
He lived too. He didn't get killed.
Yeah. So
he left the gang. He left the gang. Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember who dies at the end of this, because they leave a lot of them kind of like, even Lou Diamond Phillips. You think he's dead, but you're not 100% sure, right? Like, because we do know that some of these guys are going to be coming back for the 3rd film. But I mean, in reality, yeah, things went a little different than what they say. But yeah, so I mean, again, you got to keep in mind these are all movies, and they got to kind of make it all flow. But
yeah. Well, he died, so I don't really count Charlie Sheen because we saw him.
Charlie Sheen's gone.
We saw him straight up die. But I'm talking about characters who we didn't really see like die. I'm just like, oh hey, because it feels like there's a few faces missing as far as people who didn't die. So I thought I clarified that. Maybe that didn't come across enough, but I thought I'd mention that. But
as far as who didn't die,
yeah, that's what I mean. I felt like it felt like they almost had some of these faces there to balance out the cast from the first movie, and that's why they brought in some of these names like Alan Ruck and shit.
Well, I mean, Billy did start running with other people. Like, I know, like Christian Slater's character is based on a real person, and I think the guy who played from Ferris Bueller, I think his character is also based on a real guy. Again, I mean, like, all these people that are in the movie, they're either based on somebody or an amalgamation of 2 or 3 people. So, like, that part is all fairly true. It's just the difference is if they were older, they kind of skewed him young just so they could call it Young Guns.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like Viggo Mortensen's character is. I'm looking at that. He was based on Charlie Bowdry. Another totally different character. So it's just they're and something like this. If it's like a historical drama, you're gonna maybe get a little bit more PO'd with some things if they don't follow it exactly, or kind of make mix characters together, or but they get to tell the story, and the nuts and bolts are all there. Other than saying did Billy live or not live, but for the most part, it follows pretty much what happened to Billy the Kid. They change timelines around and flip things around, but that's basically the story. So and you can only imagine back then too, like not today. We've got these guys escaped from that prison in was it New Orleans or Louisiana, and they're still, I think they've only caught one more guy today, but you'd think like with all the the cameras everywhere and photography, like there's only one surviving, or maybe 2 or 3 surviving pictures of Billy the Kid. One they're not sure of. So when they had those wanted posters too, it's like it's conceivable that he could have gone off to somewhere in Mexico or somewhere obscure and just lived out his life, right? I mean, no one would really know who he was, especially once you age. It's not like today where it's so easy to figure out who someone is, and the government's got I know, ID and pictures and surveillance and your internet browsing history, so it's a really a different world.
Oh, this is the type of movie that it ends in 10 minutes with the current timeline. Definitely one of those.
Right?
I get what you're getting at.
Yeah. So
you watch it and you're thinking to myself, wow, yeah, this definitely is one of those things where, okay, while we couldn't work to this a movie's advantage, and it's not even if you try to work around, because once again, Westerns are best as period pieces. And there's things you can work in current year, but there's things that you absolutely should not. I don't want to say you can't, because there's always going to be someone who's going to attempt it, but it's more of a you should not. And I'm going to say that this is absolutely one of, well, not a few, but quite a many, actually. Quite a many, because otherwise this story just doesn't really last, because once again, with cell phones, technology, everyone has a camera on everyone, the Patriot Act, bullshit. So endless surveillance everywhere. Billy the Kid could not hide the way he wanted to. And also, too, we're in a very snitchy, Sue Happy world, too. people wouldn't look out for him the way they did then. That's another thing too, the cultural aspect. There's a lot of kind of go your own way unless you're doing something like really horrific to, like, you know, me and my family, then I'm gonna out you. But nowadays, people see you existing and breathing, and once again, obviously, cases vary case by case. Billy Kid wasn't that bad. He had obviously his wrongdoings, but unless we're talking about, like, you know, like let's just say like a mass murderer, yeah, you obviously want to report that, or, you know, someone who's kidnapping people, sure. But obviously, guys like Billy Kid who kind of just want to hide. Some people we kind of look the other way and say, okay, just don't get involved in my shit. I won't say anything. Nowadays, we're in the snitchiverse.
Well, Billy was kind of and this is why I think he is one that kind of rises above even, like, you know, the Jesse James and some of the other guys, because a lot of those other guys were just kind of dirty, downright scoundrels. Billy, being as young as he was, he always had that pluckiness about him, and I think he always tried to be a good guy, if that makes sense. Like I was saying, like, if you became his friend, he would kill for you. Like, that's kind of what the whole thing with Murphy and Tunstall was all about. Was, you know, he was getting revenge for Tunstall because Tunstall was one of the few people who actually took him in and was nice to him, right? And a lot of the times, a lot of the killings he did outside of even those, like, a little bit cold-blooded as they were, he was still doing it out of revenge for, you know, the death of Tunstall. So there was other times he was either just defending himself or what have you. I couldn't really find any, like, stories of where Billy was like the perpetrator or the one really egging on the situation and asking, like, trying to start a fight just to kill somebody or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it never felt like in any of those stories he was the one, like, trying to start trouble. It's always somebody else and he just ends up finishing it. Is usually how it comes out. But, you know, I don't know everything about him, and there's so much different stuff out there about him, but I think he's one of the more heroic one of those gunmen that come out of that era, to where he wasn't like just, you know, a stage robber or a bank robber or anything like, you know what I mean? To where he didn't indiscriminately kill people or anything like that.
And like, he killed some prison. Well, I mean, he did kill prison guards. Yeah, I hear what Tom's saying.
And he didn't even like that.
Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, there's even stories about how he expressed regret over that kind of shit when he knew it was either them or him at that point, kind of thing. But yeah.
He only caught one guy because Trump wasn't in charge of the border. Vince Womack. Oh, dude. Saying in the credits about the sequel, I did think about Trump at the border. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely had a chuckle about that. I was like, you gotta have sweet, sweet men at the border. We'll take care of it. It'll be nice, quick, swift. Largest deportations ever. Big, beautiful deportations. I want you to get off the holes. I wonder if I'm gonna out myself here in terms of geography, but is there any part of land where buildings like this exist at all in the country anymore, or no?
You're talking about like
there's a lot of vintage buildings
areas. Yeah, well, they are the original buildings that look like.
Oh yeah,
obviously they're gonna have smartphones and stuff in them. But I'm just saying, are there places like this that still exist?
I mean, as far as letting people live there, not really. But I mean, you can go to all sorts of, like, even where I live here, like we have like where Andrew Lloyd or Frank Lloyd Wright or whatever was born, right? So like they have like this whole area, his whole house, and like the school he went to, and the whole area is still preserved, as it were, right? So
Andrew Lloyd Webber, he was a great architect, wasn't he?
Yeah, I meant Frank Lloyd Wright, but yeah, I don't know why I said Andrew Lloyd Webber. Yeah,
but yeah, there's loads of buildings.
That's a very gay reaction, Tom.
The Pueblos, there's a lot of that stuff in the Southwest still. You know,
and then you can go to the Old West towns and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what about Deadwood? Don't they still have any original buildings
still
in Deadwood?
Yeah, they do.
The Alamo's still there, obviously. You can still see the Alamo.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of Pueblos.
I've been to the basement in the
but even
that's all, folks.
Even larger towns like Santa Fe. Even Santa Fe's got a lot of buildings that are quite quite old, traditional.
I'm gonna leave. I can't. My stutter's going off tonight. I'm just like,
You what?
done.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Don't leave.
Come on, Joe.
You're a
Don't
line.
leave us.
Dog-faced pony
I
soldier.
had to call. I had to compare him to Biden. When you do that, you give up on us. I just can't allow it. I can't allow. But by the way, chat, your reminder: 20 minutes. We transition. Okay, I'll be.
There's no chance of him fooling Pat Garrett. That guy's a forensic expert. He's never going to fool
He's
him.
a forensic expert.
Dude, he downgraded his facial hair in this movie. That was a bad move, by the way. Did you notice that? He downgraded.
Saying, who the fuck are you?
I woke up in the Soho doorway. Policeman knew my name.
My kid
Just,
loved that
you
song
could
growing
go-
up because of that show. And the
Yeah.
first
Well,
time he heard the whole song, he couldn't believe the F word was in it.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, did they just say, who the F are you? He's like 4 or 5.
Well, Pete used to say, I've got a room full of Emmys for all these songs I wrote 30 years ago. You know, like-
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's made of it.
Indeed.
Oh yes.
Indeed.
Oh, this guy had a gay old time here.
One of the old classics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think he
James
killed? They
Coburn.
killed. Do you think they
What?
killed all of his when he says they saw his guys up on the hill? Do you think they killed them all?
I think he killed the guys who were there at that moment, because I thought about when he said that, and he said, like, these are my guys. I thought, you can't have just a few. Because
Yeah, so we passed your guys by,
like
right?
that,
Yeah.
it's not like he was trying to talk up some big game. And when I hear him say that, I'm thinking, okay, so your big game is either you only have 2 guys or you have 2 guys available at that time. Now, if it's 2 guys available at the time, okay, I to me that's more of a nitpick, and I get your point with that line, Mark.
Yeah, no, but when he says like in a couple of seconds, they say we passed all your crew. They're a bunch of nice guys. It seemed to me like he killed this crew on the way to see him. Like that's why I'm wondering if you guys caught that or what you guys thought of that. If you remember that from the movie, but it's coming up in a couple of seconds here. One of the slides here, but it seemed like they took out all the hired help right now, so he's really up shit's creek. He's a rich and powerful guy, but and it's interesting. He says he owes us money, right? So they're desperate right now. They owe him $500 but it's
I think he killed. I don't know how many he killed, but he did kill some of his men. He did kill some of Chisholm's men. Is it this 2, or did he kill others?
That's what I think. I'm thinking, a couple of slides before it's saying we passed by all your guys coming here, So
I don't know
it's
if
like
he did. I don't know if he did kill them or whether he just went round them. It's not made clear.
Yeah, no, it was just an interesting. It was a fun little line I thought there. Like, yeah. So, we saw some of your men up on the high range. Pass right by them. Fine bunch. So I would just interpret it like, we took them all out.
Yeah, I think that means you took them all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, history records that he killed about 21 people. That's questionable, though.
Yeah.
It could
I
be
know
more,
that.
it could be less, but yeah.
In one day.
Yeah.
Tom doesn't mind 2 guys. He's actually in between 2 men right now. Between me and Mark.
I'm always in the middle of a man sandwich.
I was gonna say, right now he is the meat. And right now we are the buns. So if you think of it, he already is that. So, or we could get technical that Red Shirt and I could be the buns, Mark and Tom could be the meat, and Sevens could be the cheese or the bacon.
I'll be the mayo.
You want to be the mayo? Okay,
Yeah.
be the mayo. Be the mayo.
Do we have any mustard in this group?
That'd be all right. So you be mayo. Mark can be.
I'll
cheese
glaze
or
the
bacon,
donuts.
and Tom will be the meat. I can't believe we just fucking.
Where's this meat getting put?
This is not my favorite restaurant, I have to say.
I am the bottom bun, but hey, if you eat me upside down, you'll get flavors you wouldn't ever have if you had the regular way. So it kind of works out. Oh,
Right?
have you actually eaten a burger the upside down? I'm serious, by the way. You should. If you haven't, you should. Tell me it doesn't make a difference in your eating experience. You will know some different flavor, man. I'm just saying.
Kind of like eating a Snickers upside down.
I've actually never had a Snickers upside down.
Oh, wow.
Wait, is the Snickers upside down or you're upside down? Which is it?
Well, let's just say there's something about eating a Snickers upside down that's reminiscent of
Was it something of Team America?
something veiny.
Yeah.
You're so veiny. You just thought the Snickers was about you.
Fuck. You had
don't like
to
the
say
vein of this
You must have
conversation.
thought the snack was
Exactly what you
about
meant.
you.
Oh, that is incredible. That is straight up next level. Holy shit. Wow. I feel like we just Rocky 3'd together at this moment. But dude, like, if it wasn't, it was like Rocky and Apollo times 5 dudes bumping chests.
Like, I don't know if it's gay unless you like make eye contact while.
Oh, there we go.
There's no sense in going off half-cocked.
Oh my God, the cock.
Sexual discrimination.
Oh, James.
My name is
Okay.
Bond. James Bond.
Dude, why did Pat Garrett bring his facial hair game down? That was such a bad move. He went from the badass lamb chops to just the stash. Normally a stash is kick ass, but he went from this.
Because he's a villain now.
Yeah, but he looks
Twirling the
he
mustache. yeah.
downgraded. He downgraded. Yeah, I know he's a villain, but he could have still been a badass villain. Why? Bro? What kind of shit is that? Whoa, wow. Even the chat is getting off.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Wow. It is definitely taking a very memorable turn tonight. This yeah. And the time is that like sir, I would like that very much indeed. Well, we got plenty of the dudes here for that. But yeah, this is where our boy here gets the offer, the deal per se to go against Billy. I remember thinking, wow, you bastard, you're really gonna stick this out? Nah, you'll chicken shit out. It's one of those, oh yeah, I'm gonna get him, until you actually see him like, oh, do I really want to actually do this? Now that he's in front of me, it's one of those things where it's easy to say when so-and-so is not there, but once you're actually like, caught in the fire, like, do I not? And obviously we mentioned earlier, yeah, it's still debated whether he did or did not. I think he did. I think he did get shot by him. I think he just lived. How he lived, I don't know. I can't prove shit because I don't know shit.
Nick's gonna go exhume the body and do a DNA test.
Look
I don't know how to fucking do a DNA. All I know how to do is eat pizza. How am I gonna? I wish I knew I'd do a DNA test right now.
Looking at Pat Garrett here, if he were to make this movie today, Timothy Oliphant could play him, I think.
Yeah, I could see Timothy
I could see
yeah.
Timothy Oliphant playing him.
Yeah, I can absolutely see it. What's up, TGV Monster? He says Vigo's great. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but William Peterson's still a banging actor.
Oh, he's great. No, but I think now he's made it now.
Well, in what way is he a banging actor, though?
Oh,
he's just a good actor.
Hey, To Live and Die in L.A.? Great
yeah,
movie.
and I mean, not to mention that Manhunter, and of course, CSI and all the other stuff he's done. Yeah, he's just a good actor.
So would this have been considered then an all-star cast at the time?
Oh, fuck yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously with the headline names, sure, but also when you include
Kiefer's
the
a big
other
deal.
supporting
Then.
names, who are under the main card. I feel like those are all names.
Even the unknowns are all-star.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, this is a very packed packed.
It's an ensemble cast.
Yeah. And this was a big deal. Like I said, this was a bigger deal because the first one, they were, you know, it was a hit. It was a big hit. And so when they did this one, it was like they pushed the shit out of this one. This was a big summer movie, and
it looks good too. I mean, it's like
and
good
MTV was
movie.
all over MTV, and like we said in the beginning, they spent a lot more money on it and everything. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you mentioned all that. No, because once the second one finished, was there talks at the time about doing a follow-up, a third movie in some variation, or were they very definitive?
I don't recall much talk.
I don't think so at that
story
time.
had reached an end. The story had
this
reached its end.
Kind of the most you could do with it, pretty much.
I agree, it's the most you could do with it, but we're also thinking about the current year. It makes you think about current year Hollywood. Like, can you imagine the scenario in which what's his face? Pat Garrett had to shoot Billy. They would draw that out to 5 episodes in a row with them in the same room with Pat Garrett contemplating, do I not?
Yeah.
And they would all be
Plus,
an hour long each.
Billy the Kid would be a woman, and Pat Garrett would be some other minority, unspecified minority.
Pat Garrett, the first episode
would be Patricia Garrett.
Why Pat Garrett should do it. The second episode would be why Pat Garrett shouldn't do it. And then third and fourth episode should be why Billy thinks he will do
History
it.
has lied to you all these
And then the
years.
fifth episode would be 90% of the episode would be 2 lesbian girls.
You didn't know all this time that Billy the Kid was really
Outside.
a woman.
Patricia Garrett. And Wilhelmina the Kid.
Well, I thought they could have done Billy the Kid terrorizing a nursing home.
Young cunts.
They could have. Well, actually, if it was Tom's favorite movie, it would be Young Buns 2.
I want to hear this song.
Young Buns 2.
Young Cunts was called?
Young Buns
or
2.
Cunts?
Young Cunts.
Young
works
Buns
too.
2.
Buns and Cunts. Ooh, Buns and Cunts. Ooh. That
That
should be
song
an
was
AI
good.
tune, Tom. Buns and Cunts. I like that. Yeah, we highlighted that a bit earlier. He contributed. There was that weird distinction because Tom was talking about the contractual obligations. Because if you look at it, it says music by Alan and then songs written by Bon Jovi. I'm like, man, they got to make that distinction clear. I get it. You should credit them both. They contributed to the movie. I get that, but there needs to be a better like deciphering of the words because
There's a song, there's a soundtrack, and there's a score.
yes,
Two
they
different
could have
things.
said musical score by Alan Silvestri is what I mentioned earlier. I'm like, why couldn't they make that clear? Because, like, sure, someone like me might be able to figure it out because I pay attention to those things and will think about it for more than 5 seconds.
Yes.
But if someone looks at that, let's just say more so a normie, and they're going to think about it for 5 seconds, they're going to think, what the hell does that mean? And I don't blame them for thinking that. It's like, hold up. You
I'd have
just
to go
showed me
back and
one
check and see
credit
what happened.
that
but-
says music by, and then a few seconds later says songs by. Yeah, that's freaking confusing. They should have made it.
It's quite common though, especially in a lot of movies with rock soundtracks. They'll also have a score for bits
Yes,
where they're
and
not
that,
playing.
and that you're, it all had
Like
to
in
be.
Highlander. How do
No,
they credit
you're
Highlander
right.
with Queen?
You're
Well, see,
not
the thing
wrong,
is, yeah,
Steve.
that's the thing is-
it's been done for a long, long
But
time.
Highlander had a
I just
score
feel
as
like
well.
The way they credit the distinction should have been made clearer. Is what
I think
I'm
if they'd
getting.
made a second Highlander movie, they might have made it clearer who was doing
Yeah,
what.
if they
they'd
ever did a
one.
sequel.
If they'd ever
Yeah.
made one.
There's no such
Thankfully,
thing
they
as a
didn't.
Highlander sequel.
That's
I don't
right.
know
If
what the hell
they'd
you're
made
talking-
one,
Yeah,
they may have got it. They may have got it right.
Maybe we could just live in a world and say, you know what? If only there was a good Highlander sequel. If only.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how they
If
skipped
only.
straight to the third movie. It was weird that.
Well,
Now
sometimes
we're
you'll have
getting
a
James Cavill.
you'll have a crossover between the art, and I think what the deal is here, because if you look at the soundtrack, and I was trying to find what the hell the deal is, because first of all, it's Bon Jovi solo, right? So it's none of the rest of the band.
Oh,
So I don't think they wanted any like confusion there. But I do think that Bon Jovi does do some of the music with Alan Silvestri, because there is at least one track on the soundtrack that's an instrumental that has him listed on it. But I don't know if they just put that on there as just to tag it on there or what. Otherwise, I have no idea why they credited it that way. I don't know, to be honest with you.
So Okay.
I can't find any specifics. I was looking to see if there was any like arguments between Bon Jovi and his record label and maybe the band and maybe like the guitarist, what's his name, Sam Moore or whatever, did
like
one.
That, Tom.
I have no idea.
A bit more simpler than that. I think it's just the way they worded it was terrible. I think they just worded it terribly. They should just, as I mentioned earlier, they should have just made this distinction. The score.
Normally, it would just say original songs by Bon Jovi, score by or music by Alan Silvestri.
Mm-hmm. They should have just done a better way of rewording that statement. That's obviously me being nitpicky because I was like, guys, that's really confusing. But hey, when that's the worst of your problems with this movie, at least that's the worst problem that you have in this movie. This movie's still fucking awesome. And I definitely felt a lot more tension with the story. It felt like, I don't know if it was like a few minutes short. It felt like this movie was a tad faster. Not fast, like a high octane action movie, but it felt like it was having a more bit of an up-tempo beat compared to the first movie. Whereas the first movie, like, he had some action stuff that was kind of sporadic and it was building out, whereas this one, they were a lot more frequent. Oh, hey, showers. You did that on purpose, Mark.
Yeah.
Right on purpose, just so we could see. you wanted us all to take a peek. Once again, chat, 5 minutes till we transition. All the men get their action, including the actual kid who's influenced by Billy the Kid. Man, look what you influenced, Billy. Oh, bad inspiration. Dude, the Torch guys, I was like, oh, bro, they don't tolerate scum. Oh, dude, their plan of getting out of there and how they utilize the one guy and use his body as a shield, that was fucking smart.
That was awesome.
That was incredible. I was like, how are they going to get out of this one? And seeing that's probably one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie. And I was like, yeah, we accept the terms of your conditions. Come on in. And he's like, all right, everyone look normal. And he comes in. They're all on like playing cards, newspaper. They're so like chill about everything. And they said, we're coming out, we're shooting, all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Oh, dude, absolutely freaking awesomely played. I love that. I was absolutely smart shit. Really smart shit. Let's see, Matthew Marzillier. What's up, Matthew? You're correct, Nick. For the first one, slow burn that explodes. Yeah, and when it explodes, man. That's the thing. Like, you'll have some smaller moments of action, but it's more of like a big explosive finale. And this one was like, no. I'm definitely I'm going straight for the throat right away. Oh, that sounded really gay. But you get what I'm saying. It went straight for the throat and just didn't let go. So, anyways, that would be me. You wanna, Dave? Oh, now who actually thought he was gonna maybe turn in his friend Chavez? Or did you guys think he was always gonna have a clever out? What were you guys' alternatives to how he was gonna get out of this one? Because I was trying to imagine a scenario, and I thought maybe he was gonna like try to use Chavez, but also try to save him at the same time. Like I'm gonna get him out there, but I'm gonna try to see if I can be quick enough to save him because he still cares about him at the end of the day. But he's also the type of guy where he'll put his friends on the edge of suspense, but he still will try to save them ultimately. Were you guys entertaining scenarios, or was I the only one having a dream scenario with this?
I had no idea where it was going to go. And you guys have any other idea? Like, I'm like, he's screwed now.
I was entertaining it. Yeah, I'm a dreamer.
We're not on the same hallucinogenic drugs as you, Nick. That's the problem.
I guess I gotta start giving you guys my drugs, man.
Well, you figured I'm like, there's enough runtime left. He's not going to die now, but I mean, that's always a good way in a movie too.
That's right. It's not
like,
over yet.
It can't be over. Yeah, you don't look at your watch. Yeah. No, this is. I don't know if this happened in real life, but this is a really well done scene in terms of escaping. But he did, as Tom was saying before, he did break out of his handcuffs at one point, and then did kill one of the sheriffs or prison guards. and then waited and then killed another guy that made his escape. So that was true. That he was able to escape that way. So he was a
pretty effective escape,
dude, right?
yeah, in real life. Yeah.
All right, chat. 2 more minutes. We're transitioning fully. I see Vince is sharing out that Rumble link. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate that, sir. You are a great wrench. What are you saying straight to video? Because as far as I'm aware, this movie had a theatrical release. If I remember, I looked at
Young Guns 2?
Adjusted for inflation.
It was a pretty big release.
Actually did very close to the numbers that the first movie did. I think it was either slightly above or slightly below when you adjust for inflation. But regardless of how you put it, adjust for inflation, granted it's only 2 years, that's still incredible considering that when you have a sequel, now there's expectations, and there's a lot of sequels that were still coming out.
I think it did pretty well, if I recall rightly.
I would say it did very well.
Yeah, I mean, it was out against some big movies at the time, and it still did pretty well.
Oh, yeah, this is the year 1990. You had Total Recall. That was a huge deal of a flick, and then once again, the box office is still a place where you still see 2 to 3 movies in a damn day, and there's stiff competition throughout these years. I think, obviously, Home Alone, TMNT, 1990.
Home Alone?
Yeah, Dick Tracy. Alone. Dick Tracy had come out.
Ghost, I think, was
Age of Thunder.
Ghost was a big movie.
Oh yeah, Ghost. I forgot all about Ghost. Jeez.
Yeah, huge movie.
Huge.
I prefer the Naked Gun version, but
now I think about it, I would like to do a Toxic Tuesday on the Dick Tracy. I actually like it. I know Klobby and I disagreed on that movie, but I really like the Dick Tracy movie. I don't know if there'll be an interest to do that one in the chat.
I thought it was okay.
Maybe I'll do a poll. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do a poll.
Tom would say drop the Tracy bit and he'll do it. Just do the dick part.
Oh, here comes the big.
He's not listening now,
big
so I can see it.
Oh,
Mad's big moment is here now.
Oh, Mad's huge moment. All right, we're gonna do a quick poll. We're gonna do overtime. Normally we transition by now, but we're gonna do a quick overtime poll just for you guys. Okay, so we can't do a Rumble poll.
Get on that poll.
Yes, get it, vote, write it,
smoke it,
and please vote very quickly. Okay, and I got it up in the chat now. Please vote. And in order to do this,
I do have a copy of Dick Tracy, so that's good.
Well, I bet you do have a copy of Dick.
I do have a copy of Dick Tracy.
I don't put it past you to have a copy of Dick.
I remember seeing it in the cinema at the time.
I will only do this movie. Keep in mind, there's 38 of you. By the way, thank you for being here, and thank you, Christian, for your superb super chats tonight. I appreciate that, sir. SU, Gary, and Brosha. But I will say, for this thing, I will only do it if I at least get 60%. So this needs to be like a definitive thing. I don't do stuff that's under 60%, because then that means that the gauge of interest is a little lacking, and I want people to actually want to be here and to be excited and to say, oh, hell yeah, next week talk about that with the boys. Let's do that shit. So far,
no ranked choice voting here either.
Well, I'm with you guys doing it. So right now it's at 13 votes at 85%. As soon as we're done with this poll, guys, we'll do 3 more minutes. As soon as we're done 3 minutes with the final result,
we all know that
over.
We know that Nick's going to do a vote dump at the end of the poll to make the result when he wants.
Dude, hey, I gotta find my way somehow through this. What do you expect? Come on, man. Oh, fuck, I just used a Biden line on 70s.
Come on, man.
Yes. Oh, I feel like I got cancer. Oh.
There's a tempest in me. There's a tempest in me.
Sorry, I don't know why I played that. I just hit the wrong button.
I was like, oh, dude, these guys with horses are crazy. I laughed my ass off though, because I was like, wow, it's like the horses were like dogs. Like dogs when they're on their owners enough, they kind of become a little bit like their owners. the horses are around their owners enough that they started becoming like as crazy as their own owners. So I thought that was actually a pretty funny touch. The story as the horses going down the hill being crazy with their owners. But this is a crazy scenario, man. I'm wondering how they pulled off like keeping these animals safe and doing all this, or do they have like maybe big giant plushies for the horses as they fall?
No, these are experienced Hollywood stunt horses. They make a huge amount of money. You'll see them sitting off screen, smoking cigars and having whiskey. Very experienced horses.
And playing poker.
And playing poker. Yeah.
11 Alpha is saying a dump at the poll. I'm referencing the 3 a.m. ballot dump from the 2020 election. Anyways, chat, we have 14 votes, 2 minutes, 2 more minutes, and then we're out of here on YouTube. Please vote. It's in the chat. Please make your vote count. Okay. I would like for us to really get in there and do this movie. So, I yes, right on the tip. Oh, right on the tip, right there. Probably one of Chavez's shine moments. And right when I thought he was going to continue to shine, he gets shot pretty damn good. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That's the beginning of the end for him. And lo and behold, it does. Well, that's convenient.
Look, there's a good line coming up here. No, but well, he's implicating Pat. Like here, he's saying, "Oh, maybe you want to get away," and he's like, "I want you to cork your goddamn government mouth. The next time you address me common, I will put you on your prissy little ass." That was a funny line.
Well, I like how he used the word "common" for that, because nowadays in today's very abbreviated slang-based world, people be what? Huh? What does that mean? I don't get it. Because everything's so abbreviated and slang based. Like now, like back then, you'd hear those words and you kind of think, "Oh, okay." I have to think about that a little bit, but I get what he's saying. Nowadays, if people had to think about what someone said, they couldn't even at least admit, "Okay, hey, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you spell it out for me? Unfortunately, I'm retarded." At least I'll admit if I don't understand shit, I'll say it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't know. Psycho Megas, did you vote on the YouTube poll? You need to do the poll. 17 votes. All right, 1 more minute, guys, and then we're ending the show on YouTube. Young Guns 3. All right, 82%. Okay. All right. It is over, guys. We're getting over in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are transitioning. Vince Womack posted the link. Please come transition with us to Rumble. Thank you for supporting us on YouTube. And we are doing Dick Tracy in the future. We'll probably do it sometime in June, actually. And then on the way out, Latios $1.99 says tons pass hole gaze panels. So thank you for that $1.99, Paulie. I appreciate that, sir. Great to see you. What to have you come in on the poll someday?
Yeah.
Go. I think you have a great.
No, I think the show's gay enough as it is without that.
We forgot to bring our lighted LED multicolored sticks to lick on
Are
tonight
you
for the panel.
ready? Are you ready?
All right.
For
Now
the
we're
thousands
really
in
going to
attendance
transition on Rumble. Thank
and
you,
the
Paulie,
millions
for the
watching
$2.
around the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
And now we are on Rumble exclusively as of now. Thank you, YouTube.